Hey, I am here with Coach Temple Robinson for our Coach Spotlight series, which is back. So I'm so excited. How are you today, Temple?
I'm doing great today. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. I'm so glad we're talking. It's been great to be in
Yes,
the room with you lately, and I'm enjoying the opportunity to just have a one-on-one chat today.
yes, me too. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Great. Well, I'd love to start by asking you, what are you celebrating lately?
What I am celebrating is I am almost finished with my first 3-month contract. I am also celebrating, I am getting ready to get a signature on my first 6-month contract. So it really feels
Wow.
good to see all of this work towards getting clients come to fruition to be able to support them in their life's journey and on the hero's journey.
I love it. You're doing it.
Yes.
Oh, that's so great. Good. So, as a coach, who's your audience right now? Who are you looking to work with?
Well, I really enjoy working with people that are entrepreneurs, people who are of influence. And I really enjoy working with that group of people because those people tend to set the vision for what it will look like today as well as in the future. And within those groups, I really get a lot of energy around working with women, people of color, and other disadvantaged groups.
Great. And now that you've been working with some clients, um, what has surprised you?
Wow. What has surprised me is when clients see the possibilities that they have before them, when they're actually able to see that what they want to achieve is actually doable and it happens, to be able to see them just really be so present in their life and in that moment. And for me as a coach, it means a lot because I really want to support people and live in their life's purpose. And when we have these dreams in our lives and these goals that we want to do, and we actually move on them and actually bring them into fruition, it brings a level of joy that is just really, it's hard to describe. So I love supporting people and being able to experience that and do that because it's what we do with our life that makes a difference. And I enjoy supporting people and making their contribution to the world.
I love it. You light up when you say that, Temple.
Yes, because it's just a wonderful thing. I mean, for myself, I feel like it's a calling for myself to do this kind of work. When I connect with clients and I'm able to see them for who they are, and we go through these experiences where, we feel like, oh, we're not good enough, we're not this, and all these things that we're not. And then it's like, wait a minute, who am I? Who am I really? And when we think about who we are, and when we think about, oh my goodness, this is what I am, and this is what I can do, and this is what I can create, the world is yours. And it's mine. And so we can share it together. And so I just really love that because there's enough that goes on in this world where it can be distracting. But it's so wonderful when we stay focused on what we need to do so that we're living our life's purpose.
I love it. You just embody coach so much, Temple. That's one of the things I appreciate about you.
Thank you.
Um, you've kind of spoken to this a little bit, but how has your coach training affected your personal journey?
Oh, wow. So I started out with this program in September. So I'm almost a year in. And I can honestly say I am a different person than what I was before. I can honestly say I read what I was getting into, but did not know what I was getting into until I got into it. I didn't know that transformation was actually possible. I went into it thinking, okay, I'm going to take this class so I can do this check off the box, not knowing that I was going to be the box that was going to be checked. And I absolutely love it because the only way that I can support somebody else is if I know what it is like to experience it for myself. I have my own goals and dreams that I have my own hesitations around and my own, nervousness. And it feels so good to have a coach. You know, I have the benefit of having Maria as my coach. It feels so good to have a coach that's with me on that journey to support me and reminding me of who I am. And I can honestly say that because of the coaching program and the skills that I've learned in the coaching program, I am doing what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't necessarily know how I wanted to do it. I was always looking for what was going to be passionate enough where I was going to be willing to ride that wave. And I had no idea that it was going to come in this way. So for me right now, I mean, part of this energy that you're seeing is that I'm doing it. And if I'm doing it and it's this energizing for me, why not share that with everybody else?
Mm.
Why not have a good day? Why not experience joy? It's here.
You're just the best, Temple. Love it. Um, what are some challenges that you had? You know, just I mean, you're still new in your business, but you're starting to work with clients now. What were some of the challenges just getting started?
The biggest challenge that I had getting started was me believing in my own ability to do it. Let's start there. It's not about picking up the phone and calling somebody. That is simple. It is about what am I thinking when I am picking up this phone and calling somebody, and all of that that I'm going through. And back to the tools that I've learned in this coaching program, I have literally had to say, okay, what are my standards of integrity? What are my life's intentions in this moment as I'm trying to build this business? So the first thing that I will say is that when I started to actually believe that, yes, I can do it. And while I am doing it, yes, I'm going to experience these voices that are going to be counter that monkey mind voice, but I'm going to continue to move forward because this is my life's intention. With that, I am smiling at myself because I am now thinking about doing things that I never thought I would do. Seriously, like I'm really thinking about just cold calling, just walking down the street and walking into business and saying, hey, here I am. Because at this point, one of the things that I had to get used to was people saying no. And being able to take a no gracefully. And I also had to learn that everything isn't for everyone. And I've told people no as well, you know, when they've offered me services that probably could have helped me out. So in that right, other people have that right as well. So, you know, not being more realistic about that. And also being realistic about, I am a true believer in the ontological space. And when I get out there, when the right client and I interact, it will happen. And it's happened so far. And so being patient on the journey, just, you know, continuing to motivate myself in the process, continuing to network with others that are also going through the same thing has really been helpful. That was a good question. It's kind of,
Yeah, this is great.
yeah.
Good.
So,
Yeah. Well, so this may be a tricky question, so take your time with it. But you mentioned you're a real believer in the ontological space. And for those who might be watching this who are like, what does that mean? What's the ontological space? What does it mean to you? You know, when you talk about it, because I can tell how much you love this quality of the ontological space. So what does it mean to you?
so the ontological space, what does it mean? It's the study of being. It is who I be. What am I embodying? What qualities am I bringing forth? Yeah, what I appreciate about that space is that for me, it allows me to better experience my own faith. And what I mean by that is that before I got into coaching, I defined myself by the tenets of my faith. And now I believe I have the opportunity to combine both the teachings of my faith along with other practical tools that can help me better access my voice of wisdom, which for me is God talking to me. So when I say I like that, I really enjoy being in the ontological space. I enjoy being willing to be in a space where the focus is on who am I being? How am I finding gratitude in a situation? Not what I like and don't like, but what do I really have gratitude for? I appreciate being in a space where it really is about small, simple steps to get you where you need to go. What I haven't disclosed to a lot of people since I started ACE is that I've lost like over 30 pounds, which all in combined, since I started losing weight, I've lost over 100. So I'm like 110
Wow.
in terms of weight loss. And coaching has supported me in moving in that with the whole life is a hologram concept where, and that's another ontological space thing where if you have a breakthrough in one area, the likelihood of you having a breakthrough in another is possible. And so I've experienced that. So I am a true believer in that when I focus on who I am, when I focus on what my life's intentions are, which is who I want to be in that moment and what am I trying to accomplish and contribute, really it's about my contribution, not what I'm not about the accomplishment, what am I contributing? When I focus on that, and when I focus on my being, and when I focus on accessing the voice of wisdom, then I am doing the best that I know how to do to be the best person that I know how to be. And it's a wonderful experience.
Oh, you're so brilliant. Well put. I just love hearing your personal experience of what we call the ontological space that we create with our clients, and you embody it so much. Thank you, and thanks for sharing that about connection with your faith. I think that's a unique, very personal connection for you.
Yes, it is. Yes, because I am a believer for me that these goals and dreams that we have, these are messages that we're getting from God in terms of what He wants us to do with our lives. And when we do that, we experience blessings and joy and things that we could never ever think of. And I'm also a testament to that, just going through this ACE program. Back to the other question that you asked me, I mean, how did I even choose ACE? Again, I was on that, okay, I'm going to go to the ICF website and I'm just going to go to these, I'm just going to look at the websites and whichever one that I liked the most with the first paragraph. I mean, there was not a lot of selection, going on here. And the gist of it was that, what was it about ACE that spoke to me? The ontological space was an approach was so present in the website, and that it was about really who do you want to be and where are you, and about the study of being. And that is what made me choose ACE. When ACE was very upfront about the fact that, hey, in order for you to be a good coach, you have to be coached yourself. That message for me was not as apparent in other programs. And that's another reason why that I selected ACE. Not knowing all the other pieces of information about ACE. So with that being said, with me being willing, I believe that's how I got here.
Love it. Good. Going off the script a little bit, because you mentioned also some other terms we use like monkey mind. And I'm curious, what is, for people listening who haven't heard that term, what are you talking about when you say I've experienced this monkey mind?
Good question, because I was like, yeah, what is that when I first heard about it? So monkey mind, its origin is within the Buddhist faith, but the gist of it is that there are times when there is something that we're really focused on, and there are different thoughts that will come to our mind that will cause us to not focus on what we need to focus on. And these thoughts will cause us to do things like compare. Either it's all or nothing. Some of these thoughts will cause us to, the gist of it is that these thoughts will cause us to pause in terms of, and we're not able to move on that thing that we really have a lot of energy and hope around, because we're too busy giving this energy to all these other conversations that are going on internally in our mind. And thank goodness, due to the tools that I have learned in the ACE program, and I know that sounds like so gimmicky, but I'm just telling the truth. This is who it is. This is how I got there. when I got into the ACE program, I didn't even know what this was. I thought that it was just my brain and, these are just my thoughts. I didn't know that there was a name to this. I didn't know that there were symptoms to this. I didn't even know that I could find a way to be able to acknowledge this and be able to put it in its proper place so that I can move forward. So what is monkey mind? When you have these internal conversations and all of them are around what you cannot do, what is impossible, reasons as to why it won't work, that is monkey mind.
Oh, love it. Well said. I think very relatable the way a lot of times we can use these terms that we get used to in at the Academy for Coaching Excellence, and it's great to just real talk here. What do we mean when we say that? So I love the way you put that. What would you say to someone who is thinking about getting trained as a coach? What would your words of wisdom be for them?
This is a great question because I actually have a friend who is interested. And my first comment to her, my first comment to her was, if you really want to become a coach, I suggest that you go and get coached yourself. Take the opportunity to find a coach in whatever area that you believe you want to work in, and actually work with a coach and experience being a client. After you experience being a client, and the reason why is because, again, as a coach, I can't take you past where I haven't been. The reason why I'm able to be in this place and space is because I've experienced transformation and I continue to experience it and I continue to get coaching. So in that, I'm able to support other people through that process. If you have not gone through that, then how can you support somebody else? Because they're going to start talking about stuff and you're going to be like, you're just saying, whatever's on your heart. But sometimes whatever's on your heart isn't necessarily what needs to be said, if anything needs to be said. So with that, that's my first piece of advice is take the opportunity to go and get coaching. And then from there, if you enjoy the experience, and if it's something that you would like to share with others, then investigate finding a program that works for you.
I love it. Thanks. I'm sure all the people considering being coaches out there are taking your words in. You've done a lot before becoming a coach. You've been an educator, done organizational development, leadership development, worked with labor, human resources. You've done a lot in your career. So how has that influenced or helped shape who you are and what you do as a coach?
Well, I am in a life coach program, and I will say that I have lived life. I've had a lot of experiences. Yes, I was an educator, and then I transitioned into representing educators. And what I will say is that all of those pieces contribute to my ability as a coach, to support people as a coach, because those skills of being able to relate to people, to be able to identify what is really important to this person, what really moves this person, being able to understand, oh, this person is in a tough spot right now. How can I best support this individual so that they can move forward? Being able to work with someone and say, wow, this is an awesome individual who is now in a leadership position or who has been in a leadership position, and they really want to maximize their leadership opportunities and potential. Being able to bring those experiences that I have in organizational development, working with leadership, working with, in my past, I've worked mainly with superintendents of school districts, so mainly working with upper and senior level administrators. Being able to bring all of those pieces into coaching, it supports what I do as a coach, because as people see coaching, they're going to come with a variety of different experiences. What is most important is being able to identify those soft skills and transferring those soft skills to best support the client and where they are so that they can accomplish whatever dream or goal that they want to achieve while we're working together.
Great. Thanks. I love that you're bringing all that you've got in your experience into your work as a coach. You know, you're really drawing from everything you have so that, like you said before, you can contribute it.
Yes, you know, I'm thinking more about that question. And one of the things that I see about myself is that I've always been in a helping field. I have a lot of compassion for people. And I get a lot of energy around helping people. And the reason why is because I know what it's like when I need help. And as much as I don't need to have help, as much as I don't want to have help anymore, I already know that's not, you know, I know I'm going to need it. And I know how it feels when you are in need and you're wondering how that need is going to get met. I know how it feels when all of a sudden you meet someone and they give you a piece of information that you weren't even looking for, or they may say one sentence and all of a sudden, boom, all of these possibilities become available for you, and now you're back on your purpose and doing what you want to do. So when I think about the work that I've done before and transitioning to coaching, the work that I've done before was around supporting people when they kind of had tough situations. Coaching is a little different in that people have wonderful things that they're trying to achieve. And how do I support them when they feel like they're in a tough situation to help them realize, hey, it may be, it may not be. We don't know, but what we do know is that we're still going to get this thing done. So that's what I really like.
I love it. I wanted to, before we wrap up, I think a lot of more people going into the coaching industry, or even people who've been in the coaching industry for a while, more and more are thinking about justice, equity, diversity, inclusion in their business. You know, how do we bring these, we use the acronym JEDI. We got that from one of our trainers at Holistic Underground. How do we bring these principles into our coaching business? And I'm wondering what you've seen as a coach starting your practice. How do you demonstrate it? How does it show up for you?
Well, one of the ways in which before I talk about how it shows up in my business, let me say this. I have had the experience of choosing to leave a lovely career that I love dearly because of racism. It is an unfortunate thing that has happened. What can I do about that? And how can I support others? Because it's not just me that went through that. People are going through that as we're creating this video. Coaching can support that because when I reflect on my situation, if the leadership had someone coaching them that would support them and how they are approaching the situation and not necessarily focusing on the outcome. Because I think that sometimes people get so tied up into, oh, well, we want to hit this mark, 10% this one. We're gonna be in this community, or, you know, we're gonna have this speaker come. You can have all those things happen. And I can tell you from personal experience, I have been in a situation where, yes, all the right things were said and all the resources were provided, but the way in which you interacted with me and others still let me know that you still see me a certain type of way. And it came off as more of charity and versus I'm really here to provide support. And so how can we, you know, and when we look at that, right, what can we do differently? If I can support leaders in really looking at, okay, I know I have a personnel issue. I know as a leader, I want to be the best leader I can be. And really having some real conversations in terms of their approach to the situation, and not, because we know we want the outcome. We know we want to get better. And we know we have a desired outcome that we need to work towards. But how are you really looking at this whole situation as people being people? And how are you bringing your best forward? Because I firmly believe that if people start to bring their best selves forward and actually start to operate more within their being, then some of these experiences that we're having around justice and equity and inclusion, some of these things will begin to assuage. That may not go away, but people will start treating people like people. And that is what's worked for me. So that is what I want to do. And in addition to doing that, one of the things that I do is on purpose, I also reach out to organizations that are owned by people of color, because it's another way of being able to provide equity to coaching services, because there are different communities where coaching is a whole new concept. So how do I bring it to these communities so they can at least know and be aware of it, so that if they choose to take advantage of it, they know that it's available. So those are the two main things that I'm doing right now to be able to support that JEDI effort as a JEDI.
Love it. Thanks, Temple. Thanks. I think that was powerfully put from your own experience, and just a model of how you can really show up in a way that's in integrity with the world you want to create.
Yes, I firmly, the more we're thinking and the more I think about the relationships that I have that are really quality relationships, it's because we have connected as people. And when I connect with you as a person, you know what? Some of that stuff that I get caught up in, I can't necessarily get caught up in that anymore, because I see you for who you are. And you see me for who I am. So how can we work together? I mean, it's so simple, right? It seems so simple, but really, when we get there, and we have gotten there in some places and spaces, right? However, we have more work to do, and I'm all about being an ally.
Yeah, and that's the way you show up so generously.
Thank you.
Well, this has been a great conversation, Temple. I'm sure you and I could talk for hours. But if there was one thing that you wanted folks watching this to get out of this interview, what would you love them to get or know?
What I would love for people to get is that for those people that are new to coaching, I would encourage you to take the opportunity to really ask yourself, what goals and dreams do I have that I really, really want to move on, that I just haven't moved on them for whatever reason? No judgment. You just haven't moved on it. And or you're working on something and it's just a real big struggle. You're like, oh my gosh, like this is so tough and it's supposed to be fun. If you're having a hard time, no judgment. But what you know is, hey, but I want to get this thing done because it's going to just make me happy and make me proud of myself and what I've contributed. Give coaching a try. Give coaching a try. For those that are getting coaching, share the beauty about what you've experienced in coaching. Because as this profession grows, it will grow because of what people hear through their friends and not necessarily what they read. And on that, shameless plug, and give me a call. www.templerobinson.com. I'd be glad to support you.
I love it. Perfect. And we'll be sure to make sure that the link is in the on the video.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks so much, Temple. This has been great. I love your energy. I love what you're up to. And thanks for taking the time to share some of your brilliance with the world.
Thank you for having me, Greg. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.